parents have some concerns of some stuff they may have found in your room?
Yeah, I believe so.
And what would it be?
A human head and hands.
On March 1st, 2021, a call came in. Human remains found in a plastic bag at a home. Brian's parents had searched his room and discovered the head and hands in the kitchen sink. Deputies arrived and Brian was taken into custody. He immediately admitted, "I murdered someone."
I cut open his belly to see his guts.
In the quiet town of Grand Junction, Colorado, a chilling act of violence shattered the night. On February 27, 2021, 69-year-old Warren Barnes, a homeless man seeking shelter under an overpass, became the victim of a senseless murder. His killer, 19-year-old Brian Kohi II, a young man with a troubled past and a dark fascination with death. Warren Barnes was identified by the Mesa County Coroner's Office, a man down on his luck living on the margins of society. Little did he know his path would cross with someone driven by curiosity and inner demons.
And how did you get here?
I murdered someone.
Okay. So start back at the beginning and go slow and tell me as many details as you can remember.
So, because I'm already going to jail for the 15 years probably.
I have no idea.
Because
We're at the beginning.
it's murder. I'm going to jail for
Okay.
20 probably, but I am in a bad state of mind at that time. I have major depressive disorder, so I am not thinking, shall say, positively.
Okay.
And Brian, before you start, you say you have a major depressive disorder. I'm just curious what those are.
Well, actually, I have several. I have high-functioning Asperger's.
Okay.
I have ADHD
Uh-huh.
and major depressive disorder.
Brian Kohi's behavior reveals a mix of narcissism, lack of empathy, and profound detachment. Conditions like high-functioning Asperger's, ADHD, and major depressive disorder provide context, but they don't excuse the violence. It's a spectrum. ASD doesn't make someone violent, but combined with untreated depression and a fixation on morbidity, it can lead to tragedy.
So what's important to me is to learn as much about you and what you did and as I can.
Well,
As many details as you can give me, the better.
yeah, there's a road underneath, right?
Uh-huh.
Under the overpass. And I was driving along, and I see a shape here on the railway track. So I'm like, oh, interesting.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's a homeless person. So I grab my knife, I put on 3 layers of gloves.
What are you worried about? This looks like it's pretty close to the road and stuff. Somebody seeing you
Well,
or catching you?
It was 11 p.m.,
Okay.
so not many were driving by.
So were you worried about them seeing you?
I was worried about one of them stopping. But
What did you think could happen if somebody...
Well, if they looked, well, it was quite dark under there, so they wouldn't have seen the guy unless they looked. They would have seen me holding a bloody 12-inch knife,
Okay.
wearing gloves, and wearing a mask to conceal my identity, a face mask.
Okay. So you weren't doing it for COVID, you were doing it to hide your face?
Partially. Social distancing.
Brian's self-awareness clashes with his casual demeanor. He boasts about the crime, laughing at times, a chilling detachment. The detective lets him talk, realizing he's dealing with someone dangerous.
I took the knife, I pulled back the canvas, and I stabbed his neck.
Okay.
He was panicking at first, in his old man voice. He was in his 50s. I know why I call him old man. He was saying, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Why? Ah!" And I just kept on stabbing his neck. Is it okay if I do a demonstration?
Oh, yeah.
This is him. I was straddled on top of him like this.
Okay.
And he couldn't fight back. It was actually surprisingly easy. I was barely breaking a sweat. I thought, oh, this guy, he's going to be tough. But no, it was actually surprisingly easy. And during the time I was growling and making animalistic noises.
Why were you doing that?
I suppose it was a frenzy.
Okay.
I was so excited, so rushed up on adrenaline and everything. Like
Okay.
just, woo-hoo! And I paused and he said, "Why are you doing this?" And I said, "I've been wanting to do this for a long time." All the while, No, actually, after I killed him, I just couldn't stop saying, sticky, dirty, dirty, sticky. I wasn't smelling anything, but
Then why were you saying that?
I don't know.
Okay.
And then after that, I stripped his clothes. I cut open his belly to see his guts. They're really pink. Sorry, that was morbid. Then I cut off his head. I gave him a Glasgow smile.
What's that?
A Joker smile. I destroyed his eyes by stabbing them in.
Okay.
And then I cut off his hands. I put those in plastic Ziploc bags. And then I cut off his right arm at this joint
Okay.
and at this joint. And then at this arm, I tried cutting it here, and then I tried cutting it here. But what happened was, I accidentally broke his bone. This one, it was poking out.
Okay.
And so I left that one here, partially cut, dismembered here, bone sticking out. And then I left his body there. And then I took the head, put it in a leftover pizza box from the dinner a few nights ago.
The detective lets him talk. He'd been planning for 6 months to a year. No prior human killings, but he admitted to practicing on animals. A stray black cat in 2018 kept for 3 days until it stank. But his actions suggest otherwise. A need for attention, control, setting himself apart. Bragging as an extension of the act.
I was thinking about taking out his heart. I was planning to maybe keep a finger.
You haven't got that far yet.
No. Wait, yeah, wait.
And I think you stabbed him anywhere besides, but I know you said the neck a lot of times. How many times do you think? Did you count them?
No. I was going until he stopped. And here's where my car was parked. His corpse is here. You're going to want a crime scene that's roughly 2 railroad tracks, because they're right here. Hid the hands and head in my room. Clean the knife, threw away the garbage with the blood on it. In a washing machine, put it on high speed so it would effectively remove the blood. Washed it twice. I take his body out. I put it in the water. And because I don't want fingerprints on a body.
So you cut him open, did you cut his arms off, his hands off, all that before you went home?
Yeah, before I went home, I tossed the arm bits around. Like I took the right arm bit, threw it out,
Okay.
took the left arm bit, threw it out.
So it's somewhere around that bridge?
Yeah. Thank you for the water, by the way.
Sure.
Do you need more?
I will take another, please.
You know, let me go get one, okay?
I hope I'm being cooperative.
Oh, you're doing great.
The head, because it was starting to stink, I was planning on throwing the head and hands away.
I'm sorry, I just want to make sure I have it right. The head is inside of a trash bag.
It was.
Well, where is it now?
In the kitchen sink. My parents searched through my room and they found the head and hands.
He pulled back the canvas and stabbed Barnes in the neck. The victim in his 50s or 60s panicked, crying out in an old man's voice. He left the body there, tossed arm bits around the bridge, and took the head and hands home in a leftover pie box, hid them in his room. Later he returned, loaded the torso into his car, and dumped it in the river at a boat ramp, careful to avoid fingerprints.
I always knew I would be in this building, whether it was as a criminal or a police officer. I'm not a serial killer by no means. I always wanted to know what it felt like to cut up someone.
Okay.
So the arms was...
So why did you stop? Where did you stop?
Because the arms were just... That's it. That's all I wanted to know was like cutting off a limb. And I'm just like, okay.
Okay.
And you talked about you were just kind of in a bad space that night.
It was, yes.
Okay. Why were you in a bad space?
I didn't take my medicine, and plus for years I was wondering what murder would feel like, because you read like Ted Bundy and the Zodiac, they all say murder's the best feeling in the world. So I'm like, I'm going to try that.
So how long have you been planning or looking for someone to do this with before you found this guy?
About a year?
About a year?
No, 6 months.
Do you know who the person was that you killed?
No.
You said you've thought about doing this for the last 6 months, a year.
Yeah.
Have you ever done it before?
No.
Okay. You gotta ask, right?
Yeah.
How about animals? Have you practiced on anything?
Yes.
It's pretty big stuff.
Tell us about that.
Person.
It was 2018 Halloween. A stray black cat had been coming around our house. This was before I moved into my mom's. This was at my dad's. And I was thinking about killing him. I then hid the body in a shoebox, and then I disposed it in the trash and got away with it.
Okay.
And that cat.
Did you keep him for a while like you did this guy, or?
I kept it for 3 days. Then it started to stink. There's a 3 rule for bodies. I like to call it the 3 rule.
Okay, tell me about that.
3 days, the body starts to stink. No, 3 hours, rigor mortis sets in. Body stiffens. 3 days, the body starts to stink because of decomposition. 3 weeks, the body is starting to seriously decompose.
Right, great.
3 months, the body is unrecognizable. 3 years, it turns into a skeleton.
And may I ask how you know that?
I've always had a fascination with forensics and with anatomy and physiology. That's something I made up. If I go back that night, probably wouldn't have done it. Knowing that, knowing what it felt like, knowing how this will all turn out, I wouldn't have done it.
Well, what did you think it was going to feel like? What did you said you were curious. What did you think it was going to feel like?
I thought it would be the best feeling in the world.
In 2023, a jury found Brian Kohi guilty of first-degree murder. He pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity, but it didn't hold. Sentenced to life in prison without parole, Brian always knew he'd end up in a police building, as a criminal or officer. In the end, curiosity killed more than the cat. It destroyed lives,